Hey guys, Booligan here with Booligan Airsoft and Airsoft Insider, taking a look at my continuing evolution of the SAS 12 semi-automatic Chinese box magazine fed shotgun. You can see from the back here, we have tacticaled this up quite a bit. I went ahead and reached out to ATI because I like a lot of their shotgun stocks. Some shotgun tactical stock adapters for shotguns, they put the buffer tube down at like a funky angle and that can amplify recoil, and I didn't like it, didn't like any of that. ATI is one of the few that makes them at a variety of price ranges, from quite low to a little pricier. This is obviously one of the pricier ones, with near universal compatibility. Now, my research into the compatibility of this gun for different stocks showed me that the back housing of the receiver is pretty similar to a Mossberg 500 mount. So theoretically, anything compatible with a Mossberg 500 should work. However, instead of using just a simple little screw to attach it, the gun comes with this big, long, like reinforcement tube for the kind of cheap, chintzy plastic stock. And that thing is where you're going to run into your issues. It's not a recoil thing, there's no springs, there's no gas bleed offs or anything, it's just a big piece of metal. The problem being that big piece of metal is much larger diameter than most other screws. So, in short, if you want to run something like this ATI T3 stock, you are going to need to get a couple of adapters, which will be linked in the information section below. The screw base inside the receiver is 16, it's an M16 by 1.0 female. So what I had to do is I had to get an adapter from eBay, a 16 by 1.0 to 14 by 1.0, and then another adapter, 14 by 1.0 to 10 by 1.0, because you'll find a lot more options for metric 10 by 1.0 screws than you will for 16 or even 14. I've seen people take that even a step further and go from a 10 to an 8, because again, then you'll have to do less modifications to the actual stock mount itself. But for me, I'm pretty comfortable with the Dremel tool, and it wasn't too hard for me to modify that. I ended up using a metric 10 by 1.0 by 40 millimeter bolt, and that fit just about perfectly. I got that through Fastenal. And you can find that, again, I'll have a link for all the stuff that you'll need to put something like this on in the information section below. So, enough about how I did it, let's talk about the stock itself. You'll see you've got a relatively simple looking pistol grip here. There's no like funky finger grooves, which I like. The whole back end is rubber. This whole back strap is rubber. It makes it very, very comfortable. You have a polymer buffer tube, which is actually mil spec. I tested it out with this guy and it fits just fine. The T3 model comes with an adjustable cheek rest, as you can see here, and that cheek rest is how it mounts the optional shotgun shell caddy. Whether I'm going to keep it on there or not, I don't know, but it looks really, really cool, even though this thing is magazine fed. We'll see. In order for it to fit, like I said, it needed to be tightened in. And because this is a universal piece, it's designed to fit Mossbergs and Winchesters and Remingtons and all sorts of other shotguns, they have to make some concessions for it to be a little bit more universal. For it to fit with a variety of different trigger guards, it comes with a foam fill-in piece here. But the problem is that foam fill-in piece was just too small. It didn't clear that gap. You see there's a pretty big gap here. Which is nice for me. It keeps my finger right where it needs to be. So this is where I stepped in and got a little high tech. And I went with Sugru. I'd never worked with Sugru before, but I went ahead and I got 2 packets of Sugru. I grabbed one 3-pack and I used 2 of the little packets inside, shaped it, molded it, filled in that gap, and used it to press and fill in that gap right there. It has since hardened to a it's a hard rubber now. That Sugru stuff's pretty awesome. I'm going to be doing more projects with that in the future. But it fills in that gap perfectly, keeps my finger from getting pinched, and honestly, looks factory. Looks the way that it should. So this stock, the T3 stock, as I mentioned, it's kind of like the Cadillac of ATI shotgun stocks. Comes with their best grip, most comfortable grip, comes with their cheek rest, has the option of adding shell holder, and comes with a very thick recoil absorbing pad, quick sling point or swing attachment points, and it's adjustable and locks in pretty solidly adjustment wise. It does have a little bit of wobble there, which I don't love. But I'm gonna see what I can do to tweak that, you know, put in some spacing on the buffer tube. It seems better with mil-spec stocks, like actual mil-spec stocks. They seem to fit on that buffer tube quite well. But this stock setup is around 120 bucks, and I think the shells are an optional like $15, $20 extra. There'll again be a link below to buy this stock. And I really like the actual setup. Whether I would go with the T3 again or one of their less expensive models, because it should mount just about the same, I would actually probably go with the less expensive one because I don't really need the cheek rest. This is going to be nice. That recoil pad is going to be nice. This is a little unnecessary for me, you know, the shell holder. But it's nice that ATI has plenty of options, and really, if you're comfortable finding some adapters, getting those adapters Loctited in so they don't go anywhere, you can definitely do something like this to your Chinese-made SDS or SAS 12 shotgun. Now, next up, we're going to be dealing with the front. We've got a little bit too much barrel and not enough tacticalness up here. So stay tuned. I've got some goodies from Black Ace's Tactical on the way that are going to make this thing look and function awesome. Stay tuned for that. Many thanks to ATI for sending over this stock for us to test out on this build, and stay tuned for more progress on this thing as we go. Thanks for watching.